Hey, everybody. It's Allie. And welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, May 28th, 2023. Is Sharon being stalked by Cameron Kirsten or Grizzly Adams? Spring fashion trend, frontier woodsman chic. The style for spring 2023 is long hair, grizzly beard, lumberjack plaid, and jeans. That's the look. Fresh out of the forest and into a deluxe hotel suite. Oh boy. Well, more like fresh out of jail. Are they letting just anybody stay at the athletic club these days? I mean, I hate to be elitist, but this Cameron Kirsten doesn't look like he could afford a fancy bottle of champagne. Maybe he got it at the bargain basement. He got it at Dollar General on some kind of sale, an Amazon warehouse distribution special. Or maybe Cameron just got back from some kind of back to nature life coaching seminar in the woods, and he's just stopping by Genoa City to tell everybody, wait for it, I'm not that person anymore. I'm just not that person anymore. I have stopped raping and beating and framing people for murder. I have changed. Why can't you guys just believe that? What a bunch of snobs and hypocrites in Genoa City. Cameron Kirsten is about to make Jeremy Stark look like a puppy dog. And I have to tell you, Cameron Kirsten's arrival also puts into a little of perspective for me why Jeremy got killed off. It feels to me that Y&R decided to make room for a different dog in town. And how much do you want to bet? Mark my words on this. I bet you that Cameron will be revealed to have been the one to have killed Jeremy Stark off. You just watch. I think that is what's going to happen. We're going to pin it all on Cameron, and Phyllis will be, off the hook for the Jeremy killing. I can smell it from a mile away. We're going to pin it on Cameron. And honestly, I'm not as opposed to it as I was last week. I have changed my mind. I'm allowed. I am just not that person anymore. I have decided that I'm going to stay open where Cameron Kirsten and his story are concerned, because I have been asking for a villain. I've been asking for a real villain, and I've been asking for a storyline for Sharon. So on the surface, it seems like I'm getting exactly what I asked for. So I think I should at least give it all a chance to see where it goes. Especially since it looks like next week, this story, whatever it'll end up being, will also end up being the key to getting us back into Sharon's house. I was so happy to see that beautiful front porch again, and the inside of Sharon's little cottage. I mean, that's just one of my favorite sets. So I'm excited that we're going to get to see that again. It feels classic. It feels fundamental to Y&R. And also next week, we see Cameron bumping into Faith. That cannot be a coincidence. Not after the postcard that arrived to Sharon from Colorado, and after Nick noticing that Sharon's champagne bottle had a mysterious red stain on it, which is totally unacceptable for such an expensive bottle of champagne. Cameron probably spent his last $100 on that bottle. How dare it have a blood stain on it? $100, or I don't know what's considered to be an expensive bottle of champagne. I have no idea. But given the crypticness of the gift, Nick advised Sharon not to drink it. She threw that big old heavy bottle into that little tiny wastebasket behind the counter at Crimson Lights. And then when the postcard showed up, Sharon really put 2 and 2 together on the whole thing. I loved how she said, okay, with the champagne bottle got here and the blood, it occurred to me that it could be Cameron Kirsten, but I didn't want to say it out loud, and now I can't help myself. The Colorado connection brings it all together for me. I think that Colorado is where Sharon and Cameron met, right? Isn't that where they were gonna have a one-night stand and it all went wrong from there? I think Sharon was on a business trip in Colorado, and that's where she met him originally. Well, and by the way, we did a whole recap on Cameron Kirsten and where he came from last week. So if you're not sure who he is, go back and listen or watch the comments part of Y&R Chat from last week, because Daisy gave us a great recap. She said it all, did it all for us. So if you're not sure about Cameron Kirsten, go back and listen to last week. But so now this week, Nick has told Sharon that if there's any chance that this is Cameron Kirsten, it's a very dangerous situation. We need to bring Chance into the loop. But, I mean, Chance is on another case right now. I'm wondering, is he going to have the time to save Sharon from imminent danger? Or will that be Nick's job? That's what I'm wondering now. Will it be Chance or Nick who will end up saving Sharon? Gentlemen, no need to fight. There's plenty of space for both of you to save the damsel. 2 damsels who are saving themselves, thank you very much, Sally and Chloe. I am so glad that they are sticking with their business partnership. I really misjudged Sally, thinking that she was going to just throw it all out the window to go and work for Adam. So I will eat my humble pie on that, and I will like it now that she's doubled down on the business with Chloe. And it brings Chloe onto the screen more. I think she is incredibly funny, incredibly gifted. I love seeing Chloe when she's not nagging, that is. Well, Sally has decided that she doesn't need Adam's job offer, and she doesn't need Nick's seed money, especially now that he has admitted that he loves her. So instead of accepting defeat, Chloe and Sally just pumped themselves up, and they kept on going. They kept on trying. That's what I like to see. I genuinely found that to be inspiring. Like, if at first you don't succeed, try again. It's really true. And I liked that it worked out for them. I mean, just because Jill didn't accept their proposal doesn't mean that Lily and Devon can't use Sally and Chloe's services. I mean, aromatherapy scents being pumped into the Chancellor Winters waiting room. Now that is an idea that Lily and Devon could not refuse. That is some forward-thinking stuff there. I love it. I'm so glad that Lily is back, by the way. Lily is so cool and comfortable and in control. I like it. I liked that Lily was very nurturing when it came to Sally as a new mother entering into motherhood for the first time. But Lily was also very open about where she is in her own stage of motherhood, which never ends, by the way. Motherhood, it continues on even when your children are gone from the nest. And I liked that Lily has been representing that. I also love that Lily can get back to being playful in a brotherly, sisterly, razzy sort of way with Devon. She asked him, how's the custody arrangement with Chance going? The custody arrangement with Chance that we never see as the audience. The nanny does it all. It must be nice to be rich, Devon. The way that Lily delivered that line was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. It was exactly what all of us were thinking, I'm sure. So that was good. I think all is well. But I'm wondering, when is Chancellor Winters going to get back into the biz mix? Daniel's gaming platform is said to be so forward-thinking, so hip, so cool, so edgy, but it seems like it's stuck in development. So where are we going with this? Is Chancellor Winters going to end up competing with McCall and Newman Media too? Let the battle begin. Victoria and Nate are coming after McCall, and Adam told Victor that he's coming after Newman Media. So the feeling is mutual. Both Adam and Victoria arrived at the same conclusion separately, but mutually. And I think that all sounds just about right. Victor has given both of his children these bright, shiny toys or weapons, and they're both going to use them to destroy each other. It makes complete sense, and it works for me. Is McCall going to have an office building, though? Or is Adam just going to do all of his work from society? Surely CEOing cannot be a purely work-from-home job. Adam is gonna have to stop by the skyscraper every now and then. So are we gonna see that? I think so. I assume so. And I'll tell you another thing. I get the feeling from Nick's sudden paranoia that Nate wants his job, that this is gonna lead to Nick taking a job with Adam. There is a growing chasm between Victoria and Nick. He seems to be taking it really personally that Victoria is dating Nate, and I don't know. I liked Victoria's point when she said to Nick, hey, I didn't say anything about your office romance with Sally, so why can't you just leave me alone to make my own decisions? She doesn't need him to hold her hand, or anybody else for that matter. Yeah, I think Nick is right that Nate probably does want his job, but only partially. Why stop there? I'm sure that Nate would really like to have Victoria's job too. I'm sure he'd really love to have that sweet co-CEO position that Victoria claims will not happen again. She told Nick that there will be no repeats of the Ashland situation that everyone is so eager to remind her about. I liked that Victoria mentioned her poor decision-making when it comes to men, but in the reality of soaps, anyone could say that because everyone breaks up eventually. Everyone gets screwed over eventually. So Victoria has bad taste in men, yeah, but no more so than everybody else on the show. And I also don't think that Nate is operating on an Ashland Locke level of deviousness here. I don't think Nate is that deep. I think he's in it for the money, the sex, the power, yeah. But his whole step-by-step master plan is, okay, I'm going to work real hard and I'm going to kiss up to the boss. So basically the same thing that absolutely all executives do. That's some real reality-based programming, I think, right there. I mean, what's the big deal? Of course Nate is going to be kissing up to the boss. I mean, he's doing it literally and not just figuratively. And he seems to enjoy talking to his cohort about it all. I don't know. I mean, it's not really totally the scheminess of it's not totally landing with me. I mean, Audra and Nate are making sure to meet to talk about how hard they're gonna work to earn their promotions. Oh, what a scandal. The only real wild card here is Audra, who I really enjoy, by the way. Audra adds a lot of flavor to my screen. Even if she doesn't have the underlying greatest story in the world, I think the actress is great. She's giving some great deliveries. I like the way she's styled. I love that they've turned her into a soap opera vamp. And I'll tell you, I am hoping that Audra develops some kind of coy little love-hate relationship with Adam. What do you guys think of that? I just think that would be so good. Audra and Adam. I'm sure that Audra could make Adam just forget about Sally, or at least give Sally a little bit of a run for her money. And Audra is known to be a double agent, so she could definitely have, the type of relationship that she had with Tucker, which was really, their scene together was very good this week, by the way. You could feel that push and that pull and that love and that hate. I'd like to move that over to Adam, and Audra can just kind of keep us guessing, is she loyal to Adam? Is she loyal to Nate? I think that could be something interesting for her moving into the future. But for now, it seems like Audra is, she just continues to float around, and she's poking and prodding Elena, hoping to make it all explode a little bit more. And Elena got to have her say this week. She marched right into Victoria's office, and she announced that she was quitting the podcast. And I mean, she had managed to get in quite a few good verbal punches. I'll give her that. But ultimately, I just feel like that's not really Elena's style. Elena is kind of a high road kind of gal, and that's how I like her. That's what I like to see. I think that where Elena stands out isn't in her telling Nate and Victoria off. I think she stands out more in the ways that she chooses not to. But Elena did end up choosing to tell Devon this week that Nate had cheated on her, and Devon said, "Well, I guess I've got no room to judge." But then he turned around and judged Nate. He approached Nate in the park with the whole, "You've changed. You're not that person anymore" line. It's like the reverse. And I kind of liked it when Nate said, to you, Devon, it's all just Devon's world. We're all living in Devon's world. I was just a convenient cousin for you. You never really knew me at all. And I think that the audience, that's maybe true of Nate's relationship with the audience too. Maybe we never knew him all that well at all. So yeah, I think it's good to continue the Nate and Devon rivalry. I'm enjoying watching Nate's continued evolution, and I think Devon needs to maybe move over and make some room. Maybe there's another new big dog in town. Oh boy, another clever disguise by Phyllis Summers. Black ball cap and giant black nerd glasses. It was the reverse Superman. Clark Kent was her alter ego, but she's really Super Phyllis. Oh boy, yes. hey, it felt really good to me to see Phyllis after so much time has gone by. I mean, what was it, 2 weeks of her absence? It just felt like this weird quiet vacuum. And when she showed up, I was like, yes, that face, that body, that exact same self-righteous attitude. Not really sorry about any of it. No real personal growth. Still blaming Diane. Still making it all about her and being oblivious to the situation that she's put everybody else in. I saw her and I thought, yes, there she is. There's my Phyllis. You gotta just go with it. You gotta laugh at it all. Otherwise she'll drive you crazy. And maybe she does. Could you believe that she actually had enough nerve to walk down Main Street in her ball cap and Clark Kent glasses? I mean, it was a real, not fooling anybody kind of disguise. Following Summer for blocks just so that she could find the exact right moment to slip that hotel key in Summer's back pocket so they could meet up later. How could Summer not notice someone touching the butt of her pants? I feel like I would know. Maybe Phyllis needs to have a whole second career as a pickpocket. She is swift. Well, in the hotel suite, the girls played catch up and conspire. Summer gave Phyllis all the latest news about how everyone knows she's alive and everyone believes it, except for Christine, who may be changing her mind very soon. And Summer was surprisingly apologetic. I was like, Summer, no. I mean, I don't know. She was a little too apologetic, if you ask me. I think Daniel's the flip side of that coin. And Summer did tell Phyllis not to contact Daniel. Daniel is the one that told everybody you're alive. If you contact him, if you meet up with him, if you tell him where you are, he will turn you in. Daniel thinks letting Diane suffer for a crime that she didn't commit is, I don't know, wrong or something. I really liked Lucy's addition to the mix this week, weighing in on the topic of Phyllis, because Lucy had sort of a pure and innocent view of it all, a view of something that Summer has allowed her emotions to cloud up. Lucy was like, Phyllis faking her own death and blaming it all on Diane is wrong. And that's the right way of looking at it. But, I think Summer's coming from a place of just not wanting to hand over the mother who she thought was dead right on over to the cops and the authorities and the wolves with the pitchforks and the torches, because Summer knows that everyone is going to be real happy to see Phyllis alive for about a second, and then they will be calling for her head on a stick, and probably rightfully so. I think Summer's in a jam. I think Summer doesn't want to lie. I think she especially does not want to lie to Kyle. But guilt is a powerful motivator, and I think that's exactly what's going on for Summer. Guilt. Daniel doesn't have that same complication, so he can see things a little more clearly. And despite Summer's warning, you know darn well that Phyllis is going to get into contact with Daniel next week. And the question is, will Daniel seeing Phyllis in person change anything for him? Or will he turn right around and turn her in? Jack called Chance to the house this week to present his rock-solid DNA evidence to Chance. And Chance says, oh, well, then I guess we'll just go ahead and drop the case against Diane. Just kidding. I mean, now you're more screwed over than ever because you've tampered with the evidence. Why didn't you just let me do my job? That's Chance's favorite line. It's his most repeated line. Why didn't you just let me do my job? I thought it was interesting that during the meeting, Chance did not bust Summer out to the whole Abbott family, which, I don't know, it seemed sort of romantically compassionate of him, in my eyes anyway. I'm feeling like there's some chemistry there. And Chance seems to be giving Summer a lot of leeway for someone who is lying to the cops and harboring a fugitive, and Chance has to suspect that. I don't think he's totally snowed, or maybe he's just giving Summer the benefit of the doubt, or maybe he is very misted by her beauty and her charm. She is Phyllis's daughter here in this situation, but he's putting in all of these hours on this case with Phyllis. He's barely had one date with Sharon, and then he's not sending Sharon a bottle of champagne. So I just feel like there's something there. I feel like Chance is motivated beyond just the job. I feel like he has some sort of passion for Summer. I could be imagining it. Maybe it's just me believing when I want to believe. I'm sure Chance is just very dedicated to his job. I'm sure Chance is just wanting to find the concrete evidence that Christine has been asking him to find. And I mean, he's willing to spend his non-billable working hours digging through trash outside of that no-tell motel looking for evidence that a dead woman is alive. And he may have found it. Oh! The Phyllis Summers Celebration of Life booklet. All sticky and stained up with mascara tears. Can you get a DNA sample from a piece of paper with a tear stain on it? He asks. Can you get it even if there's mascara in all of it? I mean, that was dorky. That was the dorkiest of all dorky moments, but it was great. The tear stain DNA evidence on a piece of paper. A tear stain on a piece of paper. It's just, that is some high drama right there. Maybe she's dead, or maybe it's Maybelline. For the first time in Y&R history, could you believe that there was more drama at the kids' table than at the adults' table? Oh, I think that might have been my favorite scene of the week. Johnny, the Mac, was crushing it with Lucy. He had the jokes. He had the charming smile. He was like Johnny Don Juan over here. Don Juan Johnny, picking up the girl, getting those digits, and leaving Connor in the dust. This Connor is a perfect cast as Adam's son. He is moody and broody, and with total reason to be. He saw Lucy and Johnny were chopping it up at the dinner table. And I don't know if it was because Connor was jealous that Johnny was getting the attention and he wasn't, or if he was crushing on Lucy and didn't like that he wasn't the one commanding more of her attention, or if Connor was just feeling like a third wheel, but he looked like he wanted to flip the table. Or something more insidious, maybe. I have to say, I'm kind of loving it. I would really love to have some more of Connor. I like the idea of, I don't know, Demon Seed Connor in a way. That'd be really fun for Summer, and maybe, you know, a rivalry with him and Johnny would be fun to see, because Connor and Johnny are so different. I mean, Johnny is very outgoing. He's kind of all-American boy, and Connor is offbeat. He's more maybe sensitive. Maybe he's a little quieter. But yeah, they're very different personality types, and I think it could make for some interesting scenes. Honestly, I found that scene at the kids' table to be about a million times more entertaining than just the kind of usual awkwardness that was going on with the adults, between Lily and Daniel and Billy and Chelsea. All of that was very predictable. I mean, the uncomfortable moments were uncomfortable, and that was interesting, but it was also predictable. I felt like everything that was going on at the kids' table just left everybody else in the dust. Businessman Billy Abbott has become very appealing to me these last few weeks. I like it when Billy talks about Jabot's top lines and pre-sales. You go launch that men's line, Billy Abbott. Make your mark. Well, Billy told Jack this week that Ashley's gunning for him, that she is quietly pulling people together for a coup, saying that Jack is not fit to run Jabot with his mind on all of Diane's mess. And I liked that Billy kind of laid it out for Jack lovingly from an outside perspective. He expressed his support for Jack unwaveringly, but laid it out as an outside perspective that the world could see it as Jack's current fiance being accused of killing Jack's ex. It kind of looks bad on Jack's public reputation. But Billy assured him that he's on his side. It's all Ashley. It's all Ashley reacting. And so Jack went to confront Ashley. But first, he got Tucker. And oh boy, Jack seems to have lit a fire in Tucker, because Tucker, when he saw how mad Jack was at Ashley, Tucker said, "If you hurt Ashley, I will make your life hell." And I thought, that sounds like a threat. A delicious, delicious threat that gives Jack a new rival and under his own roof. I just think this is great. This is great. And don't you think that Tucker fits right in under that roof now that he and Ashley are engaged? Tucker was just as surprised at that revelation as Jack and Diane or anybody. Oh, Ashley is such a little brat. She is such a little Princess Barbie doll brat. She cannot handle Diane Jenkins shuffling around with her little ankle monitor on Ashley's territory. So Ashley feels like she has to mark her territory by one-upping Jack and announcing a lavish engagement of her own. I had the biggest laugh that I think I have ever had with Y&R when Jack was skeptical and asked why Ashley and Tucker didn't announce this engagement sooner. And Tucker said, well, we didn't want to do a big public announcement because it's so easy to get poisoned at those things. I rocked the house with my laughter on that one. It was such a dry, understated delivery. I mean, almost no one even paid attention to it. It was just a stealth missile joke. And it doesn't get any better than that in my eyes. Whoever's writing for Tucker, and I don't know, maybe it's Trevor St. John given the ideas. I have no idea, but whoever is coming up with this material gets the Platinum Comedy Award from me, because that was genuinely A+ freaking funny. Emmys, Emmys, Emmys for Trevor St. John for that delivery. I was dying. Tucker is so wry. But then he turns around and he's so sweet and vulnerable with Ashley. I think that's the magic combination right there. Ugh. Ashley and Tucker went to the park together. They had their first moment alone together since her little revenge engagement acceptance. And Tucker said to her, well, did you mean what you said back there? I heard you. You told Jack that you love me. Is that true? And then he just sits there waiting like a puppy, hungry for his crumb of affection from the mistress. And she gave it to him. She gave him that crumb, but nothing more. One crumb only. Do I love you the way that a wife should love her husband? No. But, well, I'm attracted to you. Oh, thanks. Do I love you? No, but I'm attracted to you. And I do trust you a little more every day. Wow. What progress. You know, I know it would be easy to come down really hard on Ashley for stringing him along and using him in this little game she's playing against Jack. It doesn't look good on her, but it is so darn entertaining that I can't be mad at it. And also, I'm trying to remember that Tucker cheated on Ashley not once, but twice. I wouldn't fully trust him either. But when he said, I just wish that you would trust me and see me and love me for the man that I am today, I thought, oh, well, okay, that's the path. That is the path that is laid out before us. We're going to spend the next several weeks, maybe months, I don't know, talking about a big, splashy castle wedding with a giant princess dress, and Ashley and Tucker are going to be hilariously one-upping Jack and Diane. But in the end, Tucker's probably going to pull away, and Ashley's going to realize that what she wants isn't what she thought what she wants. You know, I think she's going to realize that revenge on Jack is meaningless, and what she really wants is a simple life with the man that she, wait for it, loves. I generally get what I want. Generally, of course. That was Victoria. Victoria said that last week. She was talking to Nate, telling him that's her superpower, is that she generally gets what she wants. Oh, that was a good one. Henry, Jamie, Nancy, Erica, Michelle, Brittany, good old Marky, Calvin, Tommy, Kamna, Ron, wonderful Wendy, and Diana. You guys all got it right. Let's try a new one. Who said this? Move fast and break things. Move fast and break things. If you think you know, go to yrchat.com. Leave your guess, and if you get it right, I will give you your shout out in next week's Y&R Chat. And now on to comments. Consuela says, I freaking love Tucker. The way he told Jack off when he said, have you forgotten what I'm capable of? You do not want to make me your enemy. The way Trevor St. John delivered those lines, I was like, yes. Me too. Praise for Trevor St. John. Tina B says, Trevor St. John is such an incredible addition to Y&R. My eyebrows pop up every time he says something. You just never know what's going to come out of his mouth. I'm loving it. Oh, but Henry says, no, Tucker, don't you know better than to have your foot on the Abbott couch? Take your shoes off. You're not at a ball game. Yeah, he sure was making himself comfortable there. Shoes on the couch, that's almost as big of a no-no as having shoes on in the bed. Almost. But speaking of shoes, Ellen says, what is Ashley's secret to wearing stilettos at the park without sinking into the grass? Is that TV magic? That's funny. I never would have thought about that in a million years, but now I'm just imagining the alternate scenes where Ashley's she's trying to step through the grass and her stiletto heel just keeps like piercing through the soft ground. That's funny. Oh, well, Jamie, I know you're a happy girl this week. Jamie says, my favorite hot mess is back in all of her Phyllis glory. May her road to redemption be full of shock and awe, snide comments from some of her peers acting all holier than thou toward my girl, and all while throwing rocks from their glass houses. Also teary reunions, a barrage of I'm so happy you're alive but shame on you statements, and at least one declaration from Phyllis of her I'm not that person anymore. Already Miss Summers is showing true remorse for the pain and stress that she has caused, while also taking accountability for her actions. Keep it up, Brad. This Phyllis Stan's cup runneth over. I agree with everything there, because I didn't feel like she was taking remorse for the pain she caused. Maybe on the children, but there's like this overarching umbrella of selfishness over her. Everything falls under the Phyllis selfishness umbrella, but I think that the second tier is remorse for any pain she might have caused her children. Everything else feels like a wash, though. I don't think she's sorry for anything else except for the pain she caused her children. But her well-being and her happiness, I think, takes precedence. Naomi says, I have no sympathy for Phyllis, and normally I make excuses for her. She now admits it was her vindictive behavior that landed her where she is. She claims nobody was helping her, but in truth, she refused to listen to anyone. Her kids told her to straighten up, but she wouldn't listen. Michael and Lauren tried reasoning with her, but she refused to listen. So now, Phyllis, you may have had some valid points about how misunderstood you were, and that big bad meanie Jeremy took advantage of your weakened and fragile state of mind, but I can't hear you because I'm taking a break from supporting your crazy self. And Calmness says, wow. Phyllis really is a textbook narcissist. She doesn't even realize how much she's making it about herself, and those who love her, i.e. Summer, just sign up for more torture and emotional abuse of sorts. I can't wait for Daniel to confront her and call her BS. I really hope he doesn't fall for the Jeremy forced me to bit. Oh, and yeah, hey, on that point, Ellen says, Jeremy forced Phyllis to do everything, and also Jeremy set Phyllis up financially to go anywhere she wanted to? Come on, Summer. Are you ready to wake up yet? You know, that's a good point. Phyllis wants to have it both ways. So which is it? Jeremy took advantage of your fragile, weakened state of, mental, emotional health and relationship with your family, but he also totally paid you to do all of this. And you went along with it. So yeah, you can't really have it both ways, even if she wants to. Well, Gary says, I hope someone comes and throws Phyllis and Summer into prison at the end of today's episode. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see at least Phyllis behind bars. I don't know if Summer will find a way to get out of it, but at least Phyllis will be seeing her behind bars soon. Sue W. says, clearly, Summer has made horrible decisions ever since Phyllis died. Poor, misguided, and self-centered ones. All heck is already raining down on her from the viewers, and most in Genoa City will do the same when all the truth comes out. But I'm not disgusted by Summer's words and or actions. I don't defend them, but I also don't expect reason from her skewed processing. I find no shame in Summer's failing to make sense of things that others may see clearly when all she's been seeing is those same things twisted up and spinning around as if they're lifelines that she just can't grab while drowning. Yeah, I have sympathy for Summer. I do. I'm not mad at her. I see that she's suffering, and I see it all as at Phyllis's hands. I think I think Summer got sucked into Phyllis's skewed way of looking at things, and now everything she's doing is motivated by guilt. Phyllis has given her the perspective, and now everything Summer is doing is just being motivated by guilt. Hey, Diana says, I think we're going to be seeing the pool house now that Kyle and Summer are moving in there. I'm sure they wouldn't have bothered mentioning it if they didn't plan to show it. I'm so happy that the show's bringing back all the old sets. Next week, we'll be seeing Sharon's place, which will be a nice treat, as we have not seen it in a very long time. Y&R is going all out for 50th anniversary with classic characters and sets. They really are doing a great job with the show, including the interesting storylines. Do you think we will see the pool house? Because wouldn't that be great for 50th anniversary summertime? Would it be too much to ask to have the Abbott pool house and maybe just the illusion of a pool, maybe the reflection, just where they do the little light effect over through people's faces, or just some chairs? I don't need it to be, elaborate, but we have so many people at the Abbott house. I want to see Tucker laying around in a lounge chair with his sunglasses, kicking back by the pool, doing a whole bunch of nothing while the rest of the house spins around him. I wonder, though, if we will see the pool house, like you say, because I think Summer and Kyle might be headed for Splitsville. If they are, I don't know if they're going to end up staying together long enough to complete the move. Oh, but Diana also says, I think Chance and Christine may have a chance at romance. I can see the chemistry between these two. It started off as wishful thinking, but it really does seem possible. Christine told Chance that she owes him, and he replied, yes, you do. Chance may very well use this card in the future for a date. You never know. They are definitely going to grow closer working on this case together. I would like to see that. I would actually really like to see that. And, I thought of you, Diana, too, when Christine and Nick had their scene together. I thought maybe there could be a little chemistry going on there, too. Chris needs a love interest. I mean, if it can't be Danny, then how about one of our current guys on the show? I want more Christine, especially once this trial is done. I want to see where she is in her life now. I want to hear more about what happened with Paul. And I just want to see where she's going next. I'm still interested in Christine after all these years. Well, Victoria says, Billy and Chelsea's relationship's really growing on me. They have developed an easy style of communicating. These conversations allow the viewer to hear their honest concerns. Melissa Claire Egan and Jason Thompson bring a playful flirting to these two, which is endearing. Add in Connor and Johnny, and thus equals a cute little family, and with complications and all, these two are slowly becoming one of my favorites to watch. Well, that's good. And Ron says, it took me until this past week watching them together, but I agree. I hope we get to see Katie join the mix. It's funny that they keep mentioning that she hates hanging out with Johnny. Yeah, and Robbie says, poor Connor. It was really interesting seeing the kids' table. Just a preview of the next generation. I wonder where Christian will fit in. Yeah, you guys, that's true. I mean, we had Lucy and Johnny and Connor, and we're mentioning Katie and Christian eventually. So yeah, we are seeing a preview of the next generation. Ellen says Connor just did the signature left eyebrow raise like Adam does. Am I the last to notice this? I didn't notice the eyebrow raise specifically, but I did think to myself, he really is a great cast as Adam's son. I wonder if that was intentional. Did they spend a lot of time together and that's something that just happened, or is it something they planned? But that's great that you noticed that. Naomi says Connor was feeling left out when the three were at the kids' table. Connor is more introspective, like Adam, and Johnny is outgoing and confident, like Billy. Hopefully we can have a story of Johnny kindly helping Connor build confidence. That's the best way of putting it, Naomi. That it's like Connor's more introspective and like Adam, and Johnny's more outgoing like Billy. Great summary of that. Well, but about kids' stories, Sue W. says, kids' stories with childhood angst are probably my least favorite part of soaps. Nothing against the young actors themselves, but I much prefer watching dysfunctional adult stories. Connor, he'll be all grown up one day with a lot of baggage to unpack and most likely in a bottomless suitcase. And I can deal in the meantime. Okay, so Sue W. does not love the kids' stories. Naomi seems to want more kids' stories. So I thought that might be an interesting poll question for us this week. Do you like seeing kid-centric storylines? Go to yrchat.com and cast your vote. Maybe you are a little bit younger and you can connect with those a little bit. Maybe to you, maybe you are a kid and you're watching Y&R. And so to you, that's your generation. Those are your peers. Or, maybe, regardless of your age, you're like, I just don't really get into the kids stuff. Much prefer watching the adults. Do you think there's a place on Y&R right now for kid-centered stories? And do you really, really, at the end of the day, want to see them? Go cast your vote. Well, last topic. Astra says, I know that Nate is being written as power hungry, but where did the whole working with Audra come from? He knows she insinuated the whole Elena thing and can't be trusted. Plus, I know part of the intrigue with Victoria is because of her power, but we've never seen him express that he's trying to take Nick's job or imply that he's using Victoria until now. Unless Nate's playing Audra. Elena did warn her to be careful around him, so that has to mean something. Yeah, I totally agree. The Nate and Audra thing came out of completely nowhere, and it's very milquetoast. I mean, he's like, yeah, let's conspire to get promotions. It's a little nothing. It's a whole lot of nothing, really. Connie, it's a lot of bluster, and it just doesn't amount to anything. But anyway, Connie says Victoria and Nate are awkward, and I don't think they're going to last. Otherwise, I'm not sure why they insist on making them so unlikable. Women in leadership and power don't have to be portrayed as ruthless and vengeful. Victoria was always a favorite for me, and I don't like this cutthroat approach to her business attitude. I preferred her as a hardworking and ambitious woman that earned her title with a strong work ethic, forward thinking, and cutting edge knowledge of the industry. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is all kind of making Victoria look a little bad. I think what Y&R probably really wants more than anything is to paint her as Victor's child, as Victor's heir. I think they want to give her that ruthless persona so that she can carry that on from him. Oh, how about this? Daisy says the glow that Nikki saw on her daughter's face might not be happiness. She might be expecting. Think of it. Sally and Victoria can become best friends and go shopping for baby items together. But I digress. If Victoria is pregnant with Nate's child, I think he'd ask her to marry him. And when Victoria agrees, Nate will move on to his true plan to become CEO of Newman Enterprises, where he can work on taking over Chancellor Winters. But I think Victor would realize his daughter is incapable of being CEO without the company being at risk. And when she's removed from the position, Nate'll be surprised when he's not put in place as CEO. Nick is. Oh, I love the idea of Victoria ending up finding out that she's pregnant. That sure would be a twist, wouldn't it? And Nate would see that as his way in. Victoria's power and business acumen all boils down to this from Victoria. When Victoria says, I love a business partner who is proactive and takes initiative, what she was really thinking was, Nate, I would love for you to toss my desk and have passionate sex with me. Business can wait. Yeah, I know, right? Victoria's this ruthless, cutting-edge business leader, but what she's really thinking is, I just want to have desk sex. Well, next week is Memorial Day week, and we are always talking about how Y&R doesn't celebrate the mid-year holidays anymore, but hey, this year we are getting a Memorial Day barbecue, and Nate's on the grill. Oh, thank you everybody for my happy anniversary wishes from last week. Last week I asked you guys how long you have been with Y&R Chat. The majority of you, 33%, have just been here for 1 to 4 years. I don't know, that was kind of surprising. I feel like everybody's been here forever. Maybe just because I've been here forever. Second place goes to 5 to 9 years. So well over 50% of you have been here for 10 years or under. But that's really still a pretty great feat. I mean, how many people even stick around with a podcast or our video series for 1 year, let alone 15? There were 3 people, including me, who have been here since the beginning for the full 15 years. I'd love to know who the other 2 are, because of course I had to vote that I've been here for 15 years. But I'd love to know who the other 2 were. And of course, 20% of you here for 10 to 14 years is pretty good. 20% of you here for 10 to 14 years, that is phenomenal. Thank you guys all for being here with me, even just for this hour. I think that's, I mean, it's a really big deal. It's a really big honor that you would even want to sit here or stand there and listen to this for 1 hour, let alone decade. Oh, okay. That is that. You should go to yrchat.com to leave your comments about anything and everything you are thinking. And then please, you're welcome to come back next Sunday and we'll do it all over again. I love you guys. I hope you have a very happy Memorial Day, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.